Lightning McQueen is such a handsome boy, but he didn't always look so cool. He had some designs that were so awful that they might leave you blind, and others that will make you wish he was your husband, regardless of your gender. So in this video, let's explore all the designs that made us love Lightning McQueen, and the ones that disintegrated our eyes. McQueen Beta. Let's start with the worst of them all, and I'm talking about the design of McQueen Beta. This design is so horrendous that we're glad it wasn't the final design for the Lightning McQueen. This is the prototype design for our favorite character. Apart from being horrifying, it's a rather basic design that doesn't look appealing at all. Besides, it didn't have Lightning McQueen's characteristic number. Instead of 95, it had the number 57. But well, we understand that it's one of the early designs of Lightning McQueen. So before we vomit, let's move on to the next one. McQueen Naked? Next up is Lightning McQueen Naked. We encounter this Lightning McQueen after the accident he has, and as the name suggests, he is stripped down and only retains the number 95. This is the Lightning McQueen you'd see at your bachelor party. McQueen Smell Well. This next design, maybe not many know where it came from, but I'll talk about it because Smell Well was Lightning McQueen's first sponsor. He didn't start with Restis as we all thought. That's why this design looks simpler with fewer details, but it already had the number 95, and its lightning bolts were green instead of yellow. Although if you ask me, this design makes him look like a drunken hobo. McQueen Road Rumbler. Let's continue with Lightning McQueen from the animated series Cars on the Road, precisely in the episode called Road Rumblers. This is a completely different design. It even reminds me of Punk's with the spike design and details on its tires. He looks rougher and more spectacular than other designs on this list. But honestly, with this idea, they could have done something much better. Surely, this was Lightning McQueen's delinquent stage. Lightyear McQueen. Smell Well might not be the only one you're unfamiliar with. Lightyear McQueen is much less known. And it's not because he goes to infinity and beyond. This design explores a new color palette. The added color makes it stand out more, and they even use stickers very well. This Lightning McQueen appeared in the DLC of Cars 2, and in fact it was removed, so it's very difficult to find. Monster McQueen. This design appeared only in a short where Mater fights with the monster truck. It doesn't get a higher rank because even though the idea is good, the final design is not that striking or memorable. Even Mater's design looks much better. On the Road McQueen. This design McQueen might not be very interesting to many, and we find it in the series Cars on the Road. Despite being a simple design, it still maintains the style and originality of Lightning McQueen, but that's it. Nothing new. McQueen Racing Center. In my opinion, the McQueen Racing Center is one of the best designs Lightning McQueen has ever had. We find it in the movie Cars 3, when McQueen arrives at the racing center, and they recommend using this great design. Although it remains simple, it makes McQueen look much more modern. And they even added a phone. McQueen Daredevil. We find this design in one of Mater's shorts, and it's also designed enough that it could have its own movie. Police McQueen. This is one of the coolest designs Lightning McQueen has ever had. We find it in the Mater Detective short, and we see Lightning McQueen in a police outfit. But not for a striptease, my friend. And even though this design might seem too good, let me tell you that we still have plenty of designs that are more memorable. Dinoco McQueen. Who doesn't remember Dinoco's Lightning McQueen? It's undoubtedly one of the best designs and colors Lightning McQueen could ever have. Even though it was just a simple illusion, this design was much better than others that are canon within the movies. They put a lot of details into both the paint and accessories. Just look at those tires! Carbon Fiber McQueen. Now, it's time to talk about Carbon Fiber Lightning McQueen. Perhaps not many remember where this Lightning McQueen appears, but to refresh your memory, it's in the game Cars 2. I include it here simply because it looks too cool, but it's still the same basic Lightning McQueen design, just because they added carbon fiber, making it look tougher. McQueen Cars 1. Now, let's move on to the Lightning McQueen design in Cars 1. This was the design Lightning McQueen when he had his first accident. It has quite accurate details that blend very well with Lightning McQueen's style and personality. Moreover, this was the design with which Lightning McQueen won over Sally, so just for that reason, it stays in this position. Golden McQueen. Next up is the Golden Lightning McQueen. This design is based on the Lightning McQueen from Cars 3, and its most interesting change is its golden color. So be careful, it's better to use your sunglasses, my friend. The only downside to this design is that it didn't appear more often. Fabulous Lightning McQueen. Now, let's start with the best Lightning McQueen designs. And this one in particular is one of the most underrated. I'm talking about the design with which Lightning McQueen pays tribute to Hudson Hornet. Perhaps many didn't like this design because of the color change, but in my opinion, that color suits him very well. Besides, this design has a very special meaning, so it should be more memorable for that reason. Off-Road McQueen. The next position goes to Off-Road Lightning McQueen, and as the name suggests, it's a modified Lightning McQueen that can run off-road. It's based on the design from Cars 2, and its modifications aren't just there for show, they make it look quite good and fulfill its off-road function. Main design Cars 3. This is the most well-known design of Lightning McQueen. We could say it's his main design in Cars 3. He used it after he had his accident in Cars 3 and was repaired. The design perfectly combines with the designs from Cars 1 and Cars 2. A very wise decision if you ask me. Heavy Metal McQueen. This is one of the Lightning McQueen's designs that appears in another Mater short, precisely when he signs and has his rock band. It's one of the most spectacular designs of the Lightning McQueen, as it has many details that make it look very interesting and curious. Just look at those sunglasses they put on him. Isn't it on another level? Radiator Springs Lightning McQueen. Now let's talk about the design that Lightning McQueen used at the end of Cars 1. It retains some basic details from the main design of Lightning McQueen. But what made this design stand out was the paint job, which turned out incredible. It even makes him look younger with a baby face. NASCAR McQueen. This design originated from a collaboration Pixar had with NASCAR. It's a design with many details that you have to pay close attention to appreciate. At first glance, you can see that they put a lot of effort into this design, and even though you might think it's not the same as the main Lightning McQueen design, those small changes made it very interesting. Dragon McQueen. It was expected that we would find this design in this position, as it's undoubtedly one of the most original and best designs for Lightning McQueen. I'm talking about Dragon Lightning McQueen. They tuned Lightning McQueen a bit and added dragon decals. Also, if you didn't know, this Lightning McQueen was one of the first to have this type of spoiler. Cars 1 McQueen. But undoubtedly, the most memorable design of almost all on this list is Lightning McQueen from Cars 1, the one we see after his stay in Radiator Springs. The design undoubtedly perfectly represents Lightning McQueen, and it's good that it has nothing to do with the junk that was the beta version of Lightning McQueen. The details, the stickers, and even the color are perfect for the character. Cruiser McQueen. The second position goes to Cruiser Lightning McQueen. This design appears in the Radiator Springs scene when it becomes night. With this design, they completely changed Lightning McQueen's appearance. The entire paint job, details on the tires, and the completely different change make McQueen look quite refreshed and even more expensive. Cars 2 McQueen. But now, it's time to find out which is the best design of the Lightning McQueen. And of course, it goes to the Lightning McQueen from Cars 2. In this movie, we have Lightning McQueen at his best, with spectacular paint and stickers that complement his style very well. This is undoubtedly the best version of Lightning McQueen, mainly because of how they added characteristic lightning bolts of McQueen. Plus, his light changes make him look much more imposing. In my opinion, this position is well deserved for this version. But what do you think about this ranking? Which is the best design for you? Let us know in the comments.